Wow, what an intro. Formula One. We're gonna go straight into the
Fantastic. Now we've got a budget to work with. Our car won't be going anywhere fast without a power unit. So let's sign a power unit supplier now. We need both performance and durability from our power unit, but we also need to balance the books. We're going to have a lot of other areas to invest our cash into. We almost have all the key partners for our team now, but we still need a teammate for you. These are the drivers available to be your first teammate. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses, so consider everything when deciding who to hire. Drivers earn acclaim based on their performances. When a driver earns enough acclaim, they will level up. The higher a driver's level, the more acclaim they will earn for their current team. And remember, the faster the team levels up, the faster our income will increase. The higher a driver's experience, the more resource points are earned to spend on vehicle upgrades. Racecraft is the driver's skill to effectively complete overtakes when opportunities arise. Awareness shows the driver's ability to avoid errors and incidents. Pace describes the driver's ability to set competitive lap times. Rating is a summary of the driver's overall skill level.
Between Mick Schumacher and Sean Gelael. And John Alesi, they are 1 million. They have very, very good ratings. But, since I'm just gonna tell that I am Japanese in this career mode. I have a Japanese team, I have a Japanese engine. So actually I want to go for a Japanese second driver, but I'm just gonna go for the Asian one here, which is Sean Gelael, an Asian. But in future I will change him into the other Japanese driver. So I'm gonna go for all Japanese in this my team anymore. So we're gonna go for the Japanese power.
Looks like we can afford this power unit supplier and teammate. Go ahead and confirm if you're happy. Great, that's everything we need. You can go back and edit anything we've done so far, and we'll come back here at the start of each season. But if you're ready to go, hit Advance to head to Team HQ, and we can start our push to the top of Formula One.
Just gonna expand the logo that I choose. The red one is, to me it's D for Tokyo, R is the white one is R for racing.
Okay, we're live in 5, 4, 3.
Hello folks, and welcome to the HQ of Formula One's newest team. We've been invited backstage to gain an exclusive insight into what could be one of the most exciting entries in the sport for many years. Now, we've seen a number of new teams enter the sport over the last decade, amongst their number Manor, Caterham, HRT, and of course Haas. And while some have proved to be successful, others have morphed into different teams, and some have disappeared completely. What marks this team out, though, as being something different is that its owner is also its driver. Now, There's a rich history of that in Formula One too. Sir Jack Brabham, John Surtees, Graham Hill, and Bruce McLaren all drove their own cars in the sport, but it has become increasingly rare in recent years. What's very special about this team, though, is that while the team itself is new to Formula One, so too is its driver and owner.
Whatever happens this season, you've already made the history books. Tell me, do you feel up to the mammoth task of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
Yeah, right. It's been a lot of work and it's going to be very hard for us.
Every team needs two drivers, but what was it that drew you to your teammates?
Yeah, I think Sean was a great year for us. They were going to give him an opportunity.
No one aims to finish bottom of the table. Who's the team you're aiming to beat?
Haas, definitely Haas. We can beat Williams, I think. We're not Alfa Romeo or Ferrari level at the moment.
How are you expecting the car to feel out on track?
Yeah, we need to be responsive.
The other teams now have years of experience, both on and off the track. How are you planning to catch up to them?
Gino was planning to distribute all for parts.
Overtaking is a key part of this sport. How have you ensured that your car can take advantage of each opportunity that comes your way? And finally, which of your new departments are you most proud of?
Chassis. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Well, that's about all we've got time for here. We will see how this fledgling team fares in its first Grand Prix.
So I'm just gonna have a quick scroll on the menus available.
Here, we can spend any extra money that you secured on perks. Each of these perks benefit both you and your current team. They stay with you, so they'll make you a more attractive prospect in future negotiations.
So I think we're just gonna upgrade our power mapping. Engine we're gonna reduce 10%.
This is the driver market. From here, you can see pertinent details on each driver in the sport. Compare them with each other and add them to your watch list. When the contract negotiation window rolls around, this is where you will approach any drivers you wish to hire.
So as you can see there, we're eyeing at Nobuharu Matsushita to be our second driver. Yes, he'll definitely go to us. And I think what's missing from this driver lineup is the reserve drivers from every team, such as Esteban Gutierrez, Robert Kubica, Pascal Woolline. So I think they should be included in the driver lineup. So now we're gonna have a look. Let's quick scroll. Department. It's very less activities, I think some of the departments to prefer car. I'm not gonna improve my second driver at the moment because I'm focusing on the car. And yeah, you guessed it right. I want to change the driver also. This is an activity timeline. We can choose any activity we can. 5 days, 7 days. It depends on the gap. We can squeeze all of them into, so I have to choose it wisely. So I don't remember which one I use. So everything, for example, this one merchandise sale will promote cash. And suddenly this will be our car livery, which was Grand Prix, because I will get a season, I mean a trophy pass. With the top 3 teams, so I don't think that's logic at this moment. So, for this Grand Prix, maybe it's a giveaway class. But the detail will be a bit hard for us. I don't think it's logic. I haven't played any race. I just go straight away to my team, so I did not get any experience in this Formula 2020 game.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Hamilton, Bottas and Sebastian Vettel. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
And we're beating a Ferrari, which is not logic. So I'm just gonna increase the difficulty for the next race, but for now we're just gonna focus on this race.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to Melbourne for the opening race of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to the Australian Grand Prix. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. Can Mercedes start with victory in their bid to win a 7th consecutive Constructors' title? Could Ferrari or Red Bull establish an advantage early on? And with 22 cars on the grid, how quickly can the new team find their footing? Well, it's great to be back, Anthony Davidson. We've got a lot to talk about this year.
That's right, Crofty. It felt like a long winter, but it's good to finally be back. I have to think the usual suspects will battle it out at the front, but there are always going to be some teething problems early on in the season, so whoever can keep on top of their issues will have the advantage today.
As I mentioned earlier, we're up to 11 teams this season, with a new entry run by, well, of all things, an owner-driver. That's something we haven't seen in this sport since Hector Raback over 4 decades ago. So how are they looking so far?
It's hard to imagine how a small operation like that could survive in the ruthless world of Formula One. And yet here they are, first ever race looking surprisingly strong. But there are no points for qualifying. Let's see how they fare in the Grand Prix proper.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Albon, Max Verstappen and Ricciardo, Hirani, Leclerc, Sainz and Sergio Perez, Norris, Ocon, Kimi Raikkonen and Kvyat, Stroll, Gasly, Antonio Giovinazzi and Kevin Magnussen, Grosjean, Galeal, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Let's start this debut race for us. 5 minutes, and here we go. And I am wasting time to take button and jump to be to a bit of contact barrier. And it was Bottas to pass by Russell and easier to reach. But nevertheless, we will continue this race. We can maintain this position if we are better this next time. This is considered like battle and
We're looking good so far.
Which was have to carry now. So we're gonna have a look at look at the way the trails for this match.
VSC ending, we're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
This is supposed to do this.
Green flag. Okay, gap ahead is 1.8 seconds.
Delisle. Not yet, Delisle.
Go, go, go. to race on this compound.
See that it's Sebastian Vettel as we dive long hit from the outside. He went out with Carlos, but we dived on him at this car. So he was actually having the undercut with us, but he managed to dive behind the nearest outboard, so it's a match for us. But that's now of it, it's getting past us, and I will try to back one, shoot if we can, but it doesn't work this time, and I think the Canada collided him. But it was the afternoon, and if you remember, Leclerc is behind us, behind Vettel,
seconds.
Before we pit, and the battle, our battle with Vettel, cost him the position, and there's no much action to the final lap, number 15, Lewis Hamilton has won, and that's him. And we made mistake again, and lap 15, we were relegated to we should have gotten 10 points.
Race over.
But nevertheless, it's a very, very good debut for us. I think it's not logic yet for us to be here. We should be still fighting, 14, 15 maybe.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Hamilton having one car now. Again.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Esteban Ocon. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of his tyres, and he showed that today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
What a short delay. So with my got many time there. 3.5